Hey guys, Mike here. Welcome to Man Talk Monday. Today I wanted to talk to you about something I think all of us men have to deal with on a regular basis, even though I'm not sure we talk about it often and certainly not enough. And that's the topic of overwhelm. Um, as men, we're asked to carry a lot uh, all the time, and most of the time, I think we soldier that stuff pretty well. Whether it's our family, taking care of our family, taking care of ourselves, taking care of finances, taking care of the career. Maybe it's stuff to do with the country, like worrying about the society that we're in, worrying about politics. It can be worrying about the community that we're in. It can be worrying about keeping our daughters safe. Or it can be like there's just a whole list of things related to work, finances, money, job, our own health, other people's health, our extended family, our parents. I mean, you can go down the list. And there are times, probably more frequently than we're willing to talk about, when it gets to be too much. And for a lot of us, we find often unhealthy ways to deal with that. We all know guys who, and maybe you are that guy, maybe I've been this guy, who drink a little too much, um, who dip into some kind of habit or practice, like maybe it's gambling, maybe it's porn, maybe it's some other practice that brings you some relief. Sometimes it's video games, sometimes it's just zoning out in front of the television or in front of the view screen, or doom scrolling, or whatever it is. But today I want to show you a simple practice that is healthy, is good, and can really help you get through overwhelm in a practical way, kind of get out of overwhelm in a way that is practical, meaningful, and can get you to the next step. So this is something I use. I used it just this week, and I use it with my coaching clients a lot, and it works. And so I'm going to walk you through it. And again, it's pretty simple, but it just requires a few things. All you're going to need for this is a stack of index cards. You can use sheets of paper, that's fine too. Just something you can write on like this. You're going to need a table in front of you, or it can be the floor, doesn't matter. Just something where you can see things spread out in front of you, and you need a pen. Uh, it's important to do this in this way because it helps you to visualize what's going on. So all you need to do is get by yourself for I don't know what it takes. For me, it takes about an hour. So, and I promise it's worth the investment of time to do it this way. Get by yourself for about an hour, and then start to start to inventory all the stuff that is weighing you down, all the burdens that you're carrying, all the stuff that's got you feeling overwhelmed, right? So and you can categorize it this way. The stuff that you're angry about, the stuff that's pissing you off, the stuff that's making you angry, the stuff that you're afraid about, the stuff that you're scared for your family, or you're afraid of for yourself, or you're scared for your country, or you're scared for whatever it is. Just anything that's evoking fear. The things that you're sad about, that you're burdened with sorrow over, things like that, the things that you feel hopeless about, or you're losing hope over. So you can just, like, those categories, like anger, what I'm sad about, what I'm afraid about, what I feel hopeless about, or which is really just a kind of sorrow. And then as you think of each thing, you grab the pen, grab one card, and you write that one thing on the card, and you set it out face up on the table in front of you. And that's it. And so you just write for every single item, you write it on a separate card. and then you put it on, you just lay it, doesn't have to be laid out anywhere in particular, just lay it out in front of you. And you keep doing that until you have exhausted all the things that are burdening you. And so you can see them all laid out on the table in front of you. This accomplishes a couple things. One is it gets it out of here and puts it out where you can actually see it. And that gives you a little bit of distance from it. And the second thing is it gives you a more creative stance to be able to look at what is actually on the table, literally on the table of your mind that you're trying to manage. And so once you kind of see it all, the next thing you need to do is just spend a few minutes in silence, just looking at it, not trying to make any decisions about it, not trying to fix anything, but just looking, just taking it all in, just review. Wow, here's all the stuff that has me feeling overwhelmed, that I'm burdened about, that I'm sad about, angry about, scared about, etc. And notice what you notice, so that what you may find will happen with that is you'll start to make some creative connections. For example, you may find, wow, a lot of the things that are here have to do with my job, or a lot of things that are here have to do with a particular relationship or the like. And those are just things to take note of, to begin to give you information about what is burdening you, right? Then the next step is to divide everything on the table into 3 categories. So begin to sort through all the cards according to the things that you have. First category, things you have no control over, no direct control over. For example, I'm scared about the economy. Let's say I'm scared about the economy. I think the economy is going to pot. So that card goes into the category, the pile over here of things I don't have any direct control over. So you just go through all the cards and put over there in that section all the things I have no direct control over, things I'm concerned about or angry about or whatever, but I don't have any direct control over them. Put them all over there. Second category, things I have some influence over, but still don't have any direct control over. For example, I'm angry about this relationship with my dad, or relationship with some other member of the family. I have some influence over that, but I don't have complete control over that. Somebody else is involved. They're also a player. You know what I mean? So everything that you have some influence over, but no full control over, goes in that category. And then in the last category go the things that you have complete control over, things that you can absolutely control. These are things like, I'm really not eating well. I'm mad about how I'm eating, or I'm mad that I'm disappointed or sad that I'm not working out on a regular basis. I'm drinking too much, whatever it is, like things that I am spending way too much time worrying about all this stuff. Like put that over there. Things that are really the stuff you have control over, what you think, what you pay attention to, what you do with your body, what you do with your time. So once you have all that stuff laid out, then notice what you notice there. Like what do you notice? And most of us, if you're anything like me, you'll notice that a lot of your energy is going toward worrying over, fretting over things that you have either no control over at all or very limited influence over. So that's just something to be aware of. The final step, or final couple of steps in the process, are to go back to the section that has all these things that you're concerned with but have no control over at all. And for those things to enter into a practice of surrendering them to God. Now, this is, it sounds easy, it's not, right? It sounds easy to do, but it's a practice you have to get better and better at, because we're very good as men of saying, yeah, I give this over to you, God, and then we pick it right back up again. But here's a way you might be able to start to do this in a meaningful way. Is to say, pick up the card and say, okay, so the economy, like if that's the issue, God, I give over to you. I release responsibility for the U.S. economy or whatever country you're in, for the economy of the nation, and I hand the responsibility of this economy over to you. I give you authority and responsibility for the economy. And if there's a request you have about that, then make the request. Like, I ask that you would X or Y regarding this, but I release it to you. And then you turn the card over and put it aside. And then you pick the next card up and you do the same thing. So for everything in that area where you have no control at all, you release it to God by giving him the authority, giving him responsibility for it, and you release responsibility for it and release the authority over it that you think you might have, that you really don't. You do that. And then for once that's all done, you go to the pile that has to do with things you have some influence over but don't have full control over. And for this pile, you go back to God, and instead of just fully giving him over to him, you ask God, you say, okay, so there's a relationship with my father that I'm not happy about. You ask God a question, and the question is, God, what do you want me to know about my relationship with my dad, about this situation that I'm burdened about? What do you want me to know about this? And the second question, what do you want me to do about this? So I have limited influence, but I have some influence. So what do you want me to do about this? And then you just wait a minute or two and see what comes to mind. See what arises in your thoughts, what arises in your spirit around that situation. And if nothing does, that's okay. It might come up tomorrow, might come up the next day, but you've submitted a request. You've asked God, what do you want me to know? What do you want me to do? You're looking for divine guidance around this situation you have limited influence over. And then once you make that request, whether you get feedback on it or not right away, then you say, I give you authority and control over this situation. And I ask again, tell me what you want me to know, tell me what you want me to do. And then you put the card back down, turning it over. So again, it's released to God. You do that for every card in the middle section, right? Where you have limited influence, but not complete control. Then finally, you go over to the pile where you have complete control over everything that's going on there. And for this pile, you do the same two questions, but it's a little bit different. You say, so like, I'm not eating the way I want to be eating. I'm eating a bunch of junk food. I'm not eating well. I feel like crap. So you go to God and you say again, what do you want me to know about the way I'm eating? And what do you want me to do about the way I'm eating? And then instead of releasing that to God, which you still can do, but before you do that, say to yourself, like, make a decision in that moment based upon, what do you want me to know? What do you want me to do? Whatever you hear from God, or if you don't hear anything, then make a decision. What are you going to do? Because this is an area where you actually have control. This is an area where you can actually reduce your overwhelm by making a different decision. So what are you going to do tomorrow, or what are you going to do tonight to affect change in this area? And just by way of advice around this, don't do anything big. Do something small. So make a small move in the right direction. The point of making change in an area where you have full control is not to make big, massive changes, because that produces stress of its own. But what you want to create is success momentum, which means you make small changes that you do consistently over time. When you can do that, that produces its own kind of energy that allows you to create change over the long haul. So what do you want me to do? What do you want me to know? What do you want me to do? What am I choosing to do? What's the one thing I'm choosing to do? I know I'm going to cut out sweets for the next 7 days. So that's it. And you make that decision, you put the card down. face up, because this is still your responsibility. And you do that for all those cards. That's it. And then for any decisions that you've made, you make sure and write those down somewhere so you don't forget them, and you take them with you and you go on your way. If you do this, I guarantee you, you will feel lighter when you're done. You'll have offloaded stuff that you have no control over. You will have brought in a partnership with the divine, with God, over things you have some influence over. And you will have made some conscious choices about the things you have full control over. And rather than just spinning in the space where you're just feeling overwhelmed and you're spinning and you don't know what to do about anything, because you're shorting out over all the stuff going on in your head. So this is a way of slowing it all down, laying it all out on the table, categorizing it, and making appropriate decisions depending on where these things belong. Things you have no control over, some control over, complete control over, right? So that's it. It's a simple exercise. You can do it every week if you want, or more often than that, but I promise it will help you anytime you're feeling overwhelmed. Take an hour, do this. It will get you unstuck and get you on your way. That's my thought for you this week, guys. Hope you have a very productive, non-overwhelmed week, and I will see you again soon.